We have walked on the moon. We've landed robots on Mars, flown a probe past Pluto, and photographed galaxies billions of light years away. And yet, the single biggest, closest, most important feature of our own planet remains almost completely unknown to us. It covers more than 2/3 of the Earth's surface. It produces much of the air we breathe and controls our entire climate. It is, of course, the ocean, and here is the staggering truth. Humanity has explored more of outer space than we have of our own seas. In fact, we have far better maps of Mars than we do of the bottom of our oceans. How on earth is that possible? Let's start with just how little we've actually seen. The ocean covers around 70% of our planet, and most of it is deep, cold, black water stretching down for kilometers. In May of 2025, scientists published a study that shocked even the experts. After combing through every deep-sea dive from the last 70 years, they calculated how much of the deep seafloor human eyes have ever actually looked at, whether in person or through a camera. The answer? Around 1/1000th of 1%. That's an area roughly the size of a tiny country, which means more than 99.999% of the deep seafloor has never been seen by a single human being, ever. We are surrounded by a hidden world, and we've barely glanced at it. Now compare that to the sky. We have mapped the entire surface of the moon in incredible detail, sharp enough to make out objects smaller than a car. We've done the same for Mars, photographing its canyons, craters, and dried-up riverbeds from orbit. We've even mapped the surface of Venus, hidden beneath its thick clouds, using radar. But our own ocean floor? For most of it, our best maps are blurry, able to show only features bigger than a few kilometers across. Anything smaller than that, on the bottom of our own planet, is essentially invisible to us. Let that sink in. We genuinely have clearer, more detailed maps of the Moon, Mars, and Venus than we do of the seabed right here on Earth. So why is the ocean so much harder? The first reason is simple: light. Sunlight can only reach a few hundred meters down before it fades away completely. Below that, the ocean is plunged into total, absolute darkness, a blackness more complete than the darkest night. From space, we can photograph an entire planet bathed in sunlight in a single snapshot. But down in the deep sea, even the most powerful lights we bring with us only pierce a few meters into the gloom before the darkness swallows them whole. You simply cannot take a photo of something you cannot light up. The deep ocean isn't just unexplored, it's permanently, profoundly dark. The second reason is even sneakier. The way we map other planets is from orbit. Satellites circle above, beaming down radio waves and light, and reading what bounces back. It works brilliantly through the vacuum of space. But here's the problem. Those same radio waves, and the signals that power things like GPS, cannot travel through water. The ocean simply absorbs them. So a satellite passing over the sea is, in effect, completely blind to everything beneath the surface. We can comfortably map Mars from a spacecraft millions of kilometers away, but we cannot map our own seafloor from orbit at all, because water itself draws a curtain over the deep. To see the bottom, you have to physically go there. So if we can't see the seabed from orbit, how do we map it at all? The answer is sound. Ships drag special equipment that sends pulses of sound down to the seafloor and listens for the echo to bounce back, slowly building a picture from the timing. It's clever, but it's painfully slow. Each ship can only scan a narrow strip of ocean directly beneath it, line by line, like mowing an impossibly enormous lawn one thin row at a time. And the deep ocean is mind-bogglingly vast, hundreds of millions of square kilometers of it. There simply aren't enough ships, enough time, or enough money to cover it all. We are mapping the bottom of the world by hand, one sound ping at a time. And actually going down there yourself? That's perhaps the hardest part of all. The deep ocean is one of the most hostile places anywhere near us. The water is just above freezing. It's utterly black. And the pressure is monstrous, At the greatest depths, it's like having the weight of dozens of jumbo jets pressing on every part of your body. A normal submarine would be crushed like a tin can. So the few vehicles that can survive down there have to be built like armored tanks at enormous expense. And even then, a single trip to the bottom can take hours of slow, careful descent. Sending a rover to roll across Mars is, believe it or not, in some ways easier than sending one to the deepest parts of our own ocean. But maybe the biggest reason of all isn't science, it's us. Space has always captured our imagination in a way the deep sea simply hasn't. Reaching the moon was a source of national pride, a race between superpowers, a story of flags and heroes and rockets. Exploring a dark, cold trench at the bottom of the sea has never quite had the same glamour. And so, year after year, space exploration has received vastly more funding and attention than ocean exploration. The result is striking. More people have walked on the surface of the moon than have ever traveled to the deepest point of our oceans. We chose to look up, and we mostly forgot to look down. And what we're ignoring might be the most important place on the planet. The ocean produces a huge share of the oxygen we breathe and quietly absorbs much of the heat and carbon we pump into the air, shielding us from the worst of climate change. Hidden in its depths are creatures so strange they look alien, and scientists believe there could be thousands, even millions, of species down there that we have never named. There may be new medicines waiting in deep-sea life, clues about how life itself began, and resources we can barely imagine. Every single time we send a camera into the deep, we discover something new. That's why projects are now racing to finally map the entire seafloor by the year 2030. The greatest unexplored frontier was never in the sky. It was beneath the waves the whole time. So, why have we explored more of space than the ocean? It's not because the ocean is boring or unimportant. It's because it's brutally hard to reach. Pitch black, crushingly deep, invisible to our satellites, and starved of the funding we happily poured into the stars. For all our incredible journeys outward, the truth is that the most alien, most mysterious, and most unexplored world we know of isn't a distant planet at all. It's right here, on our own blue planet, hidden beneath the surface of the sea, waiting, in the dark, for us to finally take a proper look. If this changed how you see our world, hit like and subscribe. There's a new mystery every week. And I'll see you in the next one.